Good morning, everyone. I have the pleasure to speak with this wonderful nurse. I mean, she is awesome. If you get a chance to work with her, you'll be just so lucky. I met her last year. We worked together in Sinai Hospital on a trauma 1, trauma 2, neuro ICU, surgical ICU, a medical ICU unit. And I was amazed when I got to work with this young lady that she told me she was in her first year. I'm like, there's no way, because she's just that good. Okay. I don't think I could have been her in my first year of nursing. Matter of fact, I know I couldn't have been. She's that good. So the reason why I bring her here today for my nursing students, especially, just to give you an idea of, if you really dedicate yourself to this field, you study well, and I don't know if you have the guts. ICU is a pretty tough unit. It's really rough. You can be this young lady. So I'm introducing Miss Leanne Salza. She has a bachelor's degree in nursing and she graduated December 2021. Hi, Leanne.
Hi.
So tell everyone about why you wanted to become a nurse in the first place.
Okay, so I think me becoming a nurse, it was not me picking the professional. I think the profession picked me. Nursing is my second career. I'm 25. I went to school when I was 21. But when I was 18, I graduated high school. I actually went to civil engineering. Um, I was a civil engineering student, and like my first job was build a hospital. So I think it was meant to be. Since I was little, everybody said like I was caring. I always mind about people and other people and like fairness and make sure that everybody got what they deserve, like in a way, not in a bad way, but like in a good way. Like everybody, we're all humans. Why some people have more privilege than the other when regarding a basic needs. Um, but also, my mom got sick when I was very little, and it was just me and my mom, and I had to take care of her. So, like, the idea of being a nurse was really hard for me. It was being that situation, being in a hospital, and all of that was not really therapeutic for me. So I just tried to do the opposite. Like I went to civil engineering, but my entire life I was pulled to that one, right? Like I went to civil engineering and I built a hospital. I did a gig as a medical translator, and I was on a trip of like doing medical missions. Um, I was secretary for a dentist, and they said like, "Oh my God, like, do you want to?" I feel like the health profession always call me. Like the dentist that I used to work is he's like, "I'll pay for you to go to school if you want to be a dentist. Like you're really good at you're really organized and you really care about your patients and all of that." But nursing itself, it was on my trip. I was on my medical trip as a translator, and it was like the last one of the year. And the head nurse, he sat me down and he said, like, I see you doing this and you're really, really good and you have what it takes. It's like not everybody's natural talent. It's okay. Like everybody has their callings and people are into this for calling. Some people are plan B, or some people just want stability in life, and it's all okay. Like those things doesn't make you a better or worse nurse. Just give you different things to try for. So he sat me down and he was like, kind of talking about it, like if I ever thought about being a nurse. He talked about being a nurse practitioner, and because from South America you're a nurse and a doctor and then that's it. Like I didn't know what nurse practitioner was, and I didn't want to be a nurse. Like a nurse in South America, they're like doctor secretary. Like I don't want to be that. um they're underpaid, overworked, and they don't have autonomy. So it's like I don't want to be that. Like I don't want to do that.
What
uh
language did you translate? Which
Portuguese to English.
awesome.
And then he was like, explain to me and everything. And I just let be in God's hands. Like, okay, God, whatever you want to have for me is whatever is supposed to be. I'm just gonna be faithful. And the door just opened, and it kind of was just like that. And after this conversation, 6 months later, I was in the US, I was in Alabama, I was in school, with a full ride. And I joke, I came into this country, I had $1,000 in 2 suitcases.
Wow.
And that's how
Mm,
my life started.
that's beautiful. That is beautiful. God, we're lucky to have you. She is, I told you guys she was awesome. I told you. So, what made you choose the ICU, one of the hardest units? And then this is a neuro ICU and a MICU, SICU, and a trauma unit. Oh my God. So what made you,
Um,
that is your first year?
um, like I said, everything in this profession is being picked for me.
Mhm.
So I was in Alabama. I used to sell phones for my entire college, and I was TA also in school, but I wanted to have more experience in nursing school as I was already in the nursing program. And I was like, I'm gonna graduate. I haven't done anything in clinicals, like barely put an IV in. I felt so not prepared to be out of there. So I decided to get a job as a nursing student. So I got a job as a nursing student. I went to work. I thought I wanted to be peds. That's what I want to do. I want to work with kids. So I applied to all the peds unit and of course some med surg units, some ICU units. I didn't know what I wanted. I thought I was set in that I was going to graduate and go to NICU. That's
Mm.
what I thought of PQ. That's what I thought it was going to be like, or like med surg babies. Like I was pretty sure that I wanted to work with babies. Like, oh my god, babies better than adults. Blah blah blah. So I had this mentality, but I only got a job at a cardiac step down unit.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I went to work, and it's like, okay, a job's a job, right? Like, and always my mentality. I worked at Dairy Queen before. Like, a job's a job. And then I went to work in this job and kind of take the most opportunity of it. So I was a nursing student, but sometimes if they were understaffed, I was a tech. And kind of was like told the charge nurse is like, okay, I want to learn, like teach me. Like I'll go to every nurse and it's like, what are you doing? Like, let me do it. So I was showing initiative at first. Like, I'm here, I'm going to take the best of it and learn. And by the time I graduated nursing school, I was in that hospital. I was the fame to be a super nursing student because I could myself handle 8 patients by myself, like from start to finish. Like I could pass the medication, do my assessment, chart, give report, transfer, like. But that was because I wanted to learn. I made the best of the opportunities. um I remember the first time I pushed morphine, it was like a
Mm.
patient was already dying. It's like it was just air hunger. And I told my nurse, it's like, can I push this morphine? He's already dying, so I can't kill him. She laughed, she thought it was funny, but like it shows initiative. It shows like I wasn't afraid to do what it needed to be done. The good, the worst, like I learned everything. And then I felt like that makes me the stronger nurse that I was, because even though I was a nursing student, I was trained to be a nurse.
Right.
So when I graduated, I was already a nurse. I was not a nurse in the making. I was already a nurse.
Gotcha.
And in the ICU was kind of, oh, the other nurse was like, oh my god, like some travels. So like you handle yourself like a seasoned nurse. You like
Yes, you do.
gonna be good as a unit nurse. You should go to the unit, and you're gonna be so great. Like you are ICU nurse. Like you shouldn't stay on the floor, which is like I don't think floor nurses are bad because I came from the floor, and my entire base was being on the floor. If I wasn't a med surg nurse and I didn't have to handle 8 patients, I wouldn't be as good as I am today because it taught me my skills. and it taught me time management and taught me how to handle. If I can handle walking, talking patients, I can handle 2 intubated patients easily.
So
That's what happened.
let me ask you a question. So since you actually had a stronger background before you completely graduated and everything and got to the ICU. So if you were talking to a new nurse and she went to you for advice and said, look, I just graduated. I haven't had any experience in the hospital yet, and I would love to be in the ICU like you. What would you tell this young lady?
I'll tell what everybody thinks. Like, I tell everybody when I came to the ICU, I wasn't new as everybody else. I was not as new. I had to learn drips. I had to learn like what ICU needs for you to learn, like everybody else. But the difference was I was not trying to learn my basic skills on top of that.
Mhm.
But I don't think what I tell everybody, and like I tell my fellow cohort people, it was like, it's not that I'm better than you. I just had a better foundation, but it's not impossible. You can go to the ICU as a new grad, but you have to understand that's going to be really overwhelming
Very much.
because you don't have your basic skill. If you don't know, even if you don't know to like draw a vial, like heparin from a vial and give it to a patient. Imagine how I had to learn how to do that, plus how to learn how to manage strips, plus how to learn all of that. So my advice is like it's gonna be really overwhelming and it's gonna be really, really hard and you're gonna have to study a lot, but it's not impossible. However, you're gonna make whatever the experience for you, you're the own. It's not about your preceptor. It's not about like it's a little bit it's on you. Your preceptor's there, but I'm not gonna teach you everything that you're gonna teach. Like you need to know they assuming since you're in the ICU that at least you have your basic skills.
Mhm.
They're assuming that. And they're gonna make you feel dumb sometimes for not having it.
They do.
But you
Some
have to go
doctors
home.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to go home and study harder. It's gonna be really hard. It's really hard.
So would
It's
you
really hard.
recommend them first to, because honestly, my recommendation for someone who didn't have as awesome as a beginning as you did, because what you went through was a kind of rare. Um, would you recommend, I mean, I know I would personally recommend them that they be on a regular unit for at least a year. And the only reason why is because, as you know, because this is what you do every day, you're dealing with a really fragile patient. So that one little mistake can cost someone their life. It's like, is that
Yes.
really what you want to learn? And you got to say, hey, sorry, I killed mom. I killed dad. Which I'm new. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
the place.
So
You know what I
yes, it's
mean?
not the place. Yes, it's
They're
not the
right
place for
at
you.
that door, so to speak, on this type of unit. Yeah.
It is. It's not the place. And I see new nurses make mistakes. Not that I didn't make mistakes, but I made most of my mistakes. I did it in my beginning, like as when I was working as a nurse student. When I was like, after I graduated, I went to the floor for 3 months. I did all my mistakes that you see most often. I did those mistakes that
I see
time.
no mistakes with you. I really haven't seen any mistakes. I'm so not.
But like I see new nurses, the same cohort make basics mistakes that you don't do as when you have more experience. So, like mistakes like not checking the NG tube or like let the NG tube be too short and not notice the NG tube or like not notice your patient's coughing way much that he needed. You like things that don't make your brain go that way, you know.
Mhm.
And I made my mistakes, my fair amount of mistakes when I was new and I was learning. But I feel in the ICU, those mistakes can cause, like I said, somebody's life. And then you're not gonna think about like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to the ICU brand new and I'm gonna work a year, and you're not gonna be like, 1 year, oh my God, I'm gonna have our CRT and stuff because I'm the only one in my cohort that runs the CRT.
Can you tell the students what CRT is?
The CRT's machine is like a dialysis machine. So the difference between hemodialysis and the CRT machine is the fluid shift. In a regular dialysis, you can pull up to 2 liters, 2 liters and a half in 4 hours. To put that amount of fluid in a CRT would take 10 hours. Is for human unstable patients that they need that dialysis, the fluid extra shift to be pulled off, but in a more slow and less hemodynamic possible. Sometimes those patients doesn't even tolerate to be turned because the fluid shift. So that machine is not only you have to know how to run it and troubleshoot it, you have okay, if I pull too much fluid of this patient or too fast, they're gonna tank really fast.
Right.
And then handle because they're usually on drips and like having the understanding of how what the machine is doing and what it's doing to the body and like all those labs that you have to draw means like you have to have there's a lot of tasks involved, a lot of labs every 4 hours, every Q hours, every stage hours, managing your drips and things that you can't afford. Like when you're new, a big mistake that I see is let your drips run dry.
Yeah, that's big.
And you
Especially with your
cannot.
propofol and our Nimbex, which is a paralyzing drug, so the patient doesn't wake up and take out their trach and take their ventilator off. Let the students know what's the nurse-patient ratio if you have a CRT.
Is a 1-to-1 patient.
1-to-1, because it is that much work involved that you only can.
And they are really sick. I have one of my last CRT I just spent the entire night. I couldn't pee. I couldn't leave that room because that man was trying to die. It was like, and my job was to try to make him stay alive as much as long as I could. And that's really overwhelming is like you don't have time to process your feelings. You just have to go, and that's like impossible if you're new because your mind get overwhelmed and you want to cry. You want to cry and you can.
We've all been there. We've had our moments where we just went into another room and just broke down because you're trying to give your all to save that person's life, and that's your everything. You don't pee, you don't eat. Every time you try to go eat, it's cold blue. It's all of that's going on in the ICU. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's if you're trying to lose weight, that is the unit to be on because you're not going to eat till you get home. Then you're too tired to eat anyway, so you just go to sleep.
Yeah, and I feel like new grads has the thing like I'm gonna go to the ICU and I'm gonna have all those sick patients. That's not gonna happen. Like I feel like I'm not even in 1 year yet. Like I haven't graduated NIP. I graduated NIP in May, but I'm the only one that has those type of patients because like I proved myself. Honestly, I proved my street credit. But at first you're gonna be in the ICU with really like the most stable patient that you can ever have.
Right.
And then if you have to accept that you're not ready, expect going to the ICU. You're gonna have your first year pretty much. You're gonna have one drip here and there, maybe one sedation here and there. But you're gonna feel like you have floor patients and transfer patients because you're new. You cannot handle really truly ICU mass patients. You can't handle that.
It's heavy. Yes. Awesome. Great advice for the new nurses coming on board. Again, I'm just honored I love that I even worked with you because I'm still sitting there like, are you sure you're a first year student? But now getting a better feel of your background, that makes a lot of sense because you kind of was already a nurse. Okay. She knows her stuff, guys. She really does. So the last thing I'm going to ask is leading from the ICU, what is your plans next? Are you planning on staying in the ICU environment or going into another critical care environment or what?
I'm changing specialties in June. I'm going to cardiac surgery ICU. Back to the when I came from.
CVIC.
Yes. So I'm going back just another place.
Yes.
And then that's it for now. Like, I don't know. I have right now I'm in school for a master's in healthcare administration. Um, my goal will be grow my career the way to director of nursing or chief for nursing office.
Beautiful.
But so far as until baby steps, until you have to start somewhere, just go be a bedside nurse, just another unit, another specialty.
You're gonna be awesome. I can see you. I can see you, honey. It's gonna be wonderful for you. Just keep doing what you do, keep the positive attitude, keep the spirit, keep loving your patients and caring for them the way you do. You are an awesome being on this planet. You truly are. And again, I'm
Thank you.
so honored that I met you and got to work with you. And I'm not going to get emotional right now. Okay. Okay. Thank you again for joining us. And I'll touch bases with you soon to see how you're coming along.
Okay.
Okay. Enjoy your day off, dear.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.